Hi, this is Kudret Cheng from Diocesan Boys School Winter Nonfiction Group 4. I'll be answering a few questions regarding the Hong Kong Young Writers Award and my thoughts about participating and winning the nonfiction category of Group 4 in the 2020 section. For the first question, I believe that a few benefits of entering a writing competition for basically everyone would be quite simple. That firstly, time management is really salient, for me at least, simply because the Hong Kong Young Writers Award really had a deadline, so you could think about perhaps when you could submit it. That's where it's very important to form maybe a schedule, form maybe a plan for you to think about when to really when to really say research, when to formulate an organizational framework, and then when to really write your essay. So that's where time management is really important. That's where I derive lots of the benefit from the award. Another benefit would probably be more in writing. It's more about organization as well as expression, simply because you would want to write in a manner that's very appealing to people. You would try to write in a manner that captivates people. So I think that's where it's very important to, as I said before, to form, as I'll elaborate later on, so to really form an organizational framework, to form a bit of a skeleton before you delve into really writing and fleshing out the arguments, or if you were to delve into your narrative, if you're in the fiction section of the award. So that's where you really need to have a bit of a framework before you go into there. This is something that's really useful, I think, even the corporate world or society as a whole, to just know, to just have a very coherent structure before you delve into really writing it. So that's where I think another benefit really is. So to describe how I felt when I was announced the winner of this category, to be quite to be frank, I just thought I was very shocked, simply because I submitted my essay at around November 2019, and simply because COVID-19 and all of that happened, I received my result in February or March or April. I almost forgot, in 2020. So that's why there was lots of other commitments to attend to, and that's where it actually required lots of time, and that's where I was pretty shocked, to be quite honest, simply because I forgot about it to some extent. So, but then I was very happy, obviously, because this is quite it's very esteemed competition. So that's where I felt very shocked, and I felt really jubilant. So how do I prepare for Hong Kong Young Writers Award 2020? I think I just prepared by mostly forming a schedule. So I prepared mostly 3 weeks or 2 weeks ahead of time. So for the third week before the deadline, that's where I tried to compile a list of websites, compile a list of perhaps research topics that I could be interested in, because the topic last year was around the Greater Bay Area and potential developments there. So that's where I really tried to compile a list of, say, developments I was pretty interested in that I thought I could integrate and compile into my essay. For instance, technological developments, maybe a high-speed rail that connects many different cities in the Greater Bay Area, or maybe say a 5G connectivity, or many different types of infrastructure, or many types of, say, semiconductor industries. That, I think that's where I try to research ahead of time, and that's how I prepared. So after that, I tried to form a framework, as I said before, to mainly try to with all this research in mind, I try to put this into the skeleton, into the and maybe phase out some of the research that I thought wasn't as important, maybe not as relevant. So with that in mind, I started writing, say, 2 weeks or 1 week ahead of time, and I proofread, I think, a few days before the deadline. So that's how I prepared for Hong Kong Young Writers Award 2020. Regarding writing tips, I think I have two writing tips, one about research, one about writing skills. For research, as I can't emphasize more, it's the importance of organization. Really try to organize your framework ahead of time, or else I don't think it will be that useful, because you will just lose your research, because some of it you might not know where to put and apply that research into your essay. So that's where it's very important, for instance, to find a list of research topics, or research subtopics that you're very intrigued by, and compile it into a list, and think about where you could apply that knowledge, where you could put that knowledge to good use in your essay. So I think that's a very important research tip that I have to give. Regarding writing skills, this is quite something that I struggle on a personal basis, that to present it in a very clear manner, that I think was also a very clear benefit that I got from participating in the award. So I think a major writing tip here is just to avoid, say, run-on sentences, simply because that could really disrupt your flow of your essay, and that might disincentivize and deter people from trying to read the entire length of your essay, or they may just skim through it. So that's why it could also like say your judges could maybe discredit it or like not regard it as highly as it otherwise would be. So that's why I think a major writing skill here would just be to write in a clear manner. Don't try to like, and if you have a run-on sentence that extends for like 3-4 lines on Google Docs or Microsoft Word, try to cut it in half and try to like think of a more succinct way, more concise way to try to just express what you're trying to say. So I think that's about it. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity to do so. I'm really grateful, and thank you so much. That's it.